Hi, I'm Jordan Zimbelman. I'll be your instructor for this course. This is Finance 5103, Financial Services through the Graduate School of Business, Oklahoma Christian University. So our first lecture, it's just an overview of the course. We're basically going to cover the syllabus. I'd suggest you print this syllabus out on your own, or at least read through it on the computer or whatever, because we're not going to touch on everything. We're really just going to touch on the things you need to do over the next 7 weeks to make sure you pass this course. So it's a basic syllabus, same format you've seen with any course you've ever had. It starts with my contact info. Please email me with any questions. We'll have a discussion board on the website. That's for questions you have that you don't want the whole class to see. If you put anything on there, everybody's going to see it. So if you have a question just for me, email me. Or please feel free to call. First time I taught this class, I didn't expect to get any calls from Rwanda, halfway across the world. But I actually got quite a few more than I thought. So, and it's much easier sometimes to communicate things if you have a quick question that needs to be answered right away, or something you needed to have a back and forth with me about. Please feel free to call me. Email, I'll try to respond as fast as possible, but obviously we have an 8-hour time difference, and even if we didn't, I'm not that great at responding real fast. So I'll do my best to respond as fast as possible. I don't know why I put office hours on here. Obviously, that's not going to work for this course. Anyways, moving on, excuse me. Required text and calculator. Your text looks like this. It's a fairly expensive textbook, but it's a good textbook. Read through it. We won't cover everything in this textbook, and even on a given chapter, we won't cover everything in a given chapter. My suggestion to you would be, when you're taking, if I was in your shoes and I was taking this course, prior to watching my video lectures, go through and read the chapter real fast. You don't have to understand everything in it. You're not going to understand everything in it. Just read through it so that you have an understanding, a basic idea of what the chapter is about. Then you can watch these video lectures. And this is the format of the lectures you'll see online, which is you see my face down in the lower right hand corner. You can hear me, you can see me, and I'll be doing things on the computer over here to touch on key points that you need to know for the quizzes and the exams. You also need a finance calculator. Here in the US, we tend to use this thing called BA2 Plus, made by Texas Instruments, and has special functions on it just for finance courses. I'll assume you don't have that just from past experience, and that's fine. What I'll assume you have is Microsoft Excel. Microsoft Excel can do anything that finance calculator can do, and much, much more. And so I know you have that. So when I teach my lectures on here, I'll assume you're using Microsoft Excel. But anyways, course goals and objectives. This is a general finance course, so we'll touch on everything from corporate finance, which is why do corporations make certain decisions about money? You know, why do they raise debt versus equity, things like that. That's actually at the end of the course, and we'll get to as much as we can. Your textbook has many chapters at the end, but we won't probably be able to get to. But most of that's corporate finance. So that's real applied stuff, like should we raise debt or should we raise equity? Should we pay out dividends or should we buy back stock? Things like that. Those are corporate finance decisions. Prior to that, we'll start with the basics, which is we'll start with, we'll eventually, within the next week, we'll get into a thing called time value of money, which is where we look at the math behind financial decision making. But we'll also talk risk and return, so we'll talk risk management. We'll get into pricing dynamics of stocks and bonds, things like that. So we'll touch a little bit on all the finance topics, basically. I have some words of wisdom in here, you know, read through on your own. Yeah, another textbook for this course, obviously for all courses, is your Bible. And we'll try to, as much as possible, touch on, bring things back to the Bible whenever we can. But anyways, here's your requirements grading wise. The bulk of your grading comes from 2 exams. You'll have a midterm exam and then you'll have a final exam. Those are obviously online. John Rendiro is your on-site instructor, and he'll help you through doing all that. And me and him communicate via email whenever the exams come up to make sure that you're on the same page as me as best as possible. Anyways, so you'll have those 2 exams over the course of the 7 weeks, and then you'll have weekly assignments, which are online quizzes, which are kind of like your exams, just way shorter, and each one will be on the topic that the lectures were on for that particular week. And then we also have an online discussion board, which is 10%. That should be free points. All you have to do is go on, and I'll put up questions from time to time. For example, this first week I'll basically ask for your bio. And I'd like to know about you, obviously, and I'll put my bio up there so you know a little bit about me. But it's more for you as a class. I mean, part of this class is you as students getting to know each other so that you can work together in this class, but then more importantly after the class. And so that discussion board is there. Just make sure you know that anything you put on the discussion board everybody can see, which is good for a lot of things, but it's not good for some things. So make sure you don't put everything. Any question you have doesn't need to go on the discussion board. Some questions are personal and you need to ask me through email or something, but make sure you go on there from time to time, check, because I'll put up discussion questions. These discussion questions on the discussion board are more general questions about religion and life and things. I just want you to think outside the textbook. So I'll put that on there. I'd like you to answer them. You'll get some of your grade from that. I've also put on here a course schedule. This is very, very tentative. From teaching this class before, do we keep to this schedule? We'll just see. We'll see how it goes. We kind of play it by ear, which is depends on how. At some point during the semester, hopefully in the first couple of weeks, certainly before the first midterm, I'd like to have a Skype session, you and me, with the class, so you can ask me questions as a class. And over time, you'll send me emails, and on the discussion board, you'll post questions, and I'll kind of see how it's going. And if it's going to where I'm making the class too hard, or we're going through too much material, I'll slow it down. And then on the flip side, I like to cover as much material as possible, so I don't want to make it too easy. Nobody ever tells me that I'm making class too easy, but that is a potential problem as well. So we'll try to strike a balance with how much material we cover each week based on how things are going. All right, let's look at the website real quick. This is called Blackboard, and you should obviously know what this is, or you wouldn't be watching this lecture right now, but let's just look at the basics. So you have an information page over here. You can go read that. It's the same stuff that's on your syllabus. And then what you'll do most weeks is you'll go to the content section, and it'll have each week there'll be a new folder, and I'll try to get a couple weeks ahead, but just from past experience I tend not to get very far ahead. What I'll try to do is put my material up on the Monday of the week, which for me is Monday morning, which is more like Monday afternoon for you. I try to have everything up by 6 o'clock Rwandan time, which means when you get off work on Monday and you go to the Learning Center and get on the computer, hopefully it's already up. If it's not, I apologize. But anyway, so here we are in week 1. You've seen this already, or you wouldn't be watching this, but you click on that. It'll start with an overview that tells you everything that's listed below for this week. So there's quite a bit of stuff on here. It's a 7-week course, so you're going to be covering a lot of stuff in a very, very short amount of time. I'll do my best to keep it as organized as possible so that it's not more work for you than it needs to be. But all these lectures are these video lectures like you're watching right now. So everything's up on here now that you can see for the first week, except this lecture 1, which is the course info, because I'm making it right now, obviously, so I'll put it up right after this. Anyways, they're all 15-minute chunks at a maximum, they're 15-minute video segments. I use this thing called Screencast-O-Matic, which was suggested me through the university, it's very very easy to use, and I like it. So, but anyways, the max I can do per video lecture is 15 minutes. So, which is good, because I've had online courses that I took before, and it's you can't really pay attention to an online video lecture longer than 15 minutes anyways. You zone out. It's hard to pay attention to an on-site lecture for longer than 15 minutes, let alone a video one. So they don't go longer than 15 minutes per chunk, which is convenient that it keeps it short, but sometimes, for example, like lecture 2, 3, and 4 here, I have to do multiple ones to get through a whole chapter or get through a whole subject. So you'll need to watch the first one, take notes, digest anything, take a break, go look at your textbook if you didn't understand, and then come back and watch the next one. And if necessary, there's usually not any more than 3 per lecture, which means 45 minutes total. So a 45-minute lecture is not that long. If we were having an on-site lecture, 45 minutes would be the minimum that we would have a lecture. So at max, per topic, I try to keep it to 15 minutes. But you'll go on there. You'll have these video lectures you need to watch. I put them through YouTube, so it keeps the amount of information on the Blackboard website lower. So you can actually go to my YouTube page and see all my old videos from past classes and everything. And most of the videos I do this semester will probably be videos I recorded in the past. So sometimes every once in a while you'll hear me say something that applied to just that one semester, like next week we're going to have a test at so-and-so time. You might need to disregard that. Just take that, take those little details with a grain of salt. But the material is all the same, so it doesn't change, obviously. But you'll go through here, you'll watch the video lectures. Please watch them all, because every once in a while, how I test you is sort of a overlap between what's in my video lectures and what's in the textbook. I won't test you on anything that's not in the textbook, but I won't cover everything in the textbook. And so if all you do is go off the textbook and you don't watch the video lectures, you might be studying too much, which is, there's no problem with that. It's just I try to touch on the important parts, and which things I really think you probably should know. And so watch the video lectures. That'll help you hone down the amount of material you need to learn. And then you have these quizzes. Click on these quizzes. They're just little onlines. They're usually fairly short, 4 or 5 questions, something like that, just to test you on the material I had just previously covered. All right. This first week, real quick, you're going to have 3 lectures, which is a total of about, I think, an hour and a half of lectures, if you add up all these times on here. Make sure you watch all those. There's 2 quizzes. The first quiz is really, really easy. It's just a definition quiz. It's the first week. Try to keep it simple. And then you have this second quiz, which is a little harder, where you have to do some actual computations with some balance sheets and income statements. And then you use this Dropbox. What you'll do is you'll download this MS Word doc, and if you scroll down to the last page, it's got some empty cells on it that you need to fill in. So you go in there, you do the calculations, you fill them in, and then you save it, and then you turn it in via the Dropbox. Alright, if you have any questions, please contact me. It's our first week. I look forward to meeting you all, and I hope you all get to meet each other as well. Thank you. Let's have a good semester. It goes by really fast, so don't get behind. Thanks.